Mara's necklace. In the brightly lit grand hall, Owen reached into Claire's blue cloth bag and lifted out the diamond necklace with a star-shaped pendant. Dozens of guests fell silent at once. The evidence had been found inside the housekeeper's bag so clearly that there seemed to be no room left for an explanation. But someone inside the house knew that this appearance of certainty had been carefully arranged. Margaret stepped forward, her face completely pale. "That belonged to my daughter-in-law. No one outside this family has the right to touch it." She pointed toward the ring of keys hanging from Claire's waist. "Take those off. Remain here until the police arrive." "I never placed that necklace inside my bag." Claire kept her voice calm, even though the expressions around her had already changed. Celeste covered her mouth, displaying just enough pain for the cameras. "I defended you many times when Margaret questioned whether you could be trusted. Why would you do this on the night of my engagement?" Sophie ran forward and wrapped her arms around Claire's leg. Before the girl could speak, Celeste bent down. "She is only frightened because she misses her mother. Do not use a child's emotional reaction as an excuse to protect yourself." 6 hours earlier, Sophie had been sitting between two dresses inside the nursery. Claire chose the light blue one without the tight collar, then knelt down to check the inhaler inside her bag. "If the music makes it difficult for you to breathe, point toward the bag. Is that all right?" Sophie nodded. When she reached for a hair clip, she accidentally knocked over a framed photograph of Mara. The glass did not break, but one corner of the frame came loose. Sophie's face turned pale. Claire sat beside her. "An accident does not make someone a bad person." She repaired the frame, then recorded the time and the damage in the property log without hiding anything. On her way downstairs, Claire found a gold bracelet beneath a chair in the sitting room. She immediately carried it to Owen. "Please sign that you received this from me." Owen looked slightly annoyed. "I know you returned it." "A signature will protect both of us." Inside the kitchen, a young server accidentally touched a hot tray. Claire gave up her own break, led him to cold running water, and bandaged the burn, even though she had not eaten. When the party began, music from the grand hall echoed through the house. Sophie covered her ears and began breathing rapidly. Claire took her back to the nursery, but she did not force the girl to accept a hug or any physical contact. She sat at a comfortable distance and slowly placed puzzle pieces on the floor, one at a time, until Sophie's breathing became steady again. Sophie picked up a colored pencil and drew a woman wearing a red dress. A large star appeared around the woman's neck. "Who is this?" Claire asked. Sophie only darkened the star, then folded the drawing. Claire assumed it was a character from a story and did not question her further. After leaving the nursery, Claire passed Celeste's dressing room. The door was slightly open. In front of the mirror, Celeste stood in a red dress wearing Mara's diamond necklace. "Miss Celeste, that necklace was being preserved for Sophie." Celeste touched the pendant. "Alexander wants me to wear it as a symbol of our two families becoming one." Claire knew that was unusual. Alexander had previously said that Mara's keepsakes would not be given to Sophie until she was an adult. Even so, Claire did not accuse Celeste of anything. "Please return it before Margaret sees you wearing it. This does not need to become a confrontation." Celeste closed the door without answering. Several minutes later, Claire heard Celeste speaking on the phone in the hallway outside the nursery. "Immediately after the wedding, Sophie will be sent to boarding school. Once the girl is gone, everything will be easier to control." Claire stepped into the hallway. "Mr. Grant must know before any decision is made about Sophie." Celeste ended the call. "You are an employee. You care for the girl according to a schedule. You do not decide her future. Claire looked directly at her. I will keep the necklace and this phone call private if you return Mara's property, stop using boarding school to frighten Sophie, and speak with Mr. Grant together with me. It was an opportunity for Celeste to stop. Instead, she smiled. You are the reason Sophie has become so dependent. Perhaps you are no longer suitable for this household. Claire tried to call Alexander, but Owen stopped her in the hallway. Mr. Grant is giving a speech. He cannot be interrupted. Soon afterward, Celeste asked Owen for his management access card, claiming that she needed to enter the nursery and prepare a gift for Sophie. When she passed through the doorway, the camera mounted on the wall flashed a small blue light. Claire did not see it. She had already been called downstairs to assist the guests. Several minutes later, Celeste cried out that Mara's necklace had disappeared. Owen locked the side entrances, then asked Claire where she had last seen it. Around Miss Celeste's neck in her dressing room. Whispers spread through the grand hall. Celeste stepped backward, as though she had been deeply insulted. If she intends to accuse me, search the bag she always keeps inside the nursery. Owen opened Claire's blue cloth bag in front of everyone. Beneath Sophie's inhaler and care journal, the diamond necklace appeared. Back in the present moment, Claire did not beg for mercy or pull Sophie in front of her as protection. She said only, "Please do not question the child in front of this crowd." A police siren sounded beyond the gates. Detective Laura Kim entered and ordered everyone to stop touching the bag. Owen was about to escort Claire into another room when Sophie pulled away from Margaret and pointed upstairs. "The camera saw her." Laura looked at the girl, then turned toward Alexander. "Who has access to the nursery camera besides Miss Wilson?" Laura's question silenced the grand hall. She ordered the exits secured and announced that no one could leave the estate until they identified everyone who had entered the nursery. Alexander brought Laura, Claire, Celeste, Owen, and Margaret into his office. The remaining guests were kept inside the grand hall. He opened the camera application on the large screen and selected the exact period when the necklace disappeared. The folder was empty. Celeste spoke immediately. "Claire watches Sophie every day. She could have deleted the footage to hide the fact that she stole the necklace." Alexander turned toward Claire. "What is your password?" "My account only allows me to view the live camera so I can monitor Sophie. I cannot download or delete recordings." Owen confirmed that the Housekeeper account did not include permission to erase files, but he added, "She lives in this house. It is possible that she knows the owner's password." Laura stood between them and spoke firmly. "A necklace inside a bag and an empty folder are not enough to determine who committed the act. I need the access records before I decide whether anyone should be arrested." It was Celeste's second opportunity to stop. Instead, she folded her arms. "The longer we wait, the more time Claire has to influence Sophie's statement. The police should remove her immediately." Hearing her name, Sophie began breathing rapidly. Her shoulders tightened and her fingers gripped her dress. Claire did not defend herself. She immediately looked at Laura. "The inhaler is inside the small pocket on the left side of the blue bag. Please take it out now." Because the bag was evidence, Laura opened the pocket herself, removed the inhaler, and handed it to Alexander. Claire remained at the distance required by the police. "Lower yourself so you are closer to her eye level. Do not hold her shoulders. Let Sophie see the inhaler. Use it once, allow her to breathe in slowly, and only then use it again." Alexander followed her instructions. As Sophie's breathing gradually became steady, he looked at Claire as though he were seeing her for the first time. The woman his entire family had accused understood his daughter better than he did. Laura took Sophie to the nursery for a private conversation. She did not ask who had stolen the necklace. Instead, she placed several objects in front of the child. "You may show me what happened in any way you choose." Sophie picked up a doll wearing a red dress and placed it beside the blue bag. Then she took a toy star, hid it inside the bag, and pushed the doll away. Laura did not praise her or confirm any conclusion. She simply recorded the sequence. She understood that Sophie was describing something she had witnessed, but a story told through toys still required technical evidence. Back inside the office, Alexander signed into the owner-level control panel. The system log showed that the video had been deleted from the family tablet 17 minutes before Celeste reported the necklace missing. The action had been completed through an administrator account while the device was inside her dressing room. Celeste immediately objected. "Anyone could have taken that tablet. Claire could have carried it into my room." Laura asked security to open the hallway footage. The recording showed that during the exact period when the files were deleted, Claire was downstairs in the grand hall, moving between guest tables in full view of dozens of people. Owen began to lose his composure. "I gave Celeste the management access card. She said she needed to prepare a gift for Sophie. I did not know she would use it to enter the nursery." Alexander looked at him. "Why did you not record the transfer?" Owen had no answer. A small symbol on the control panel made Alexander pause. The system, developed by a subsidiary of Grant Robotics, preserved encrypted activity for 24 hours. The recording could disappear from the tablet without being erased from the cloud archive. He entered his personal recovery key. "Alexander, stop." Celeste stepped toward the screen. "The nursery camera may contain private moments involving Sophie. Are you going to display them in front of the police and your employees?" Laura blocked her path. "We are restoring only the relevant period. One copy will be preserved according to evidence procedures. No one is permitted to distribute it." The recovery bar began moving. While they waited, Laura ordered the photographer to provide every original image from the party. The first photograph appeared on the screen. Celeste stood beside Alexander in her red dress. Around her neck was Mara's diamond necklace with the star-shaped pendant. Margaret stood suddenly. "You said you never touched it." In a later photograph, Celeste was wearing a pearl necklace instead. She had never told anyone that she had possessed Mara's keepsake before reporting it missing. "Alexander gave me permission to wear it," Celeste said, but her voice had become dry. "No." Alexander looked directly at her. "I never gave you permission." A notification announced that the recovery was complete. The first restored recording appeared on the screen. Celeste used the access card to unlock the nursery while Claire was downstairs. She entered, looked directly at the camera, and picked up the tablet. The image jumped slightly as the system reconstructed the data. Celeste appeared beside the bed. Mara's necklace was in her hand. Claire's blue bag was lying beside her beneath the camera light. The preview continued for several seconds. Celeste bent down and moved the hand holding the pendant toward the opening of the bag. The recording stopped on that exact frame. No one in the room spoke. Alexander slowly turned toward his fiancée. "Why is Mara's necklace in your hand?" Laura ordered that the recording continue only in the presence of Alexander, Claire, Celeste, Margaret, Owen, and an independent attorney. The guests who had witnessed Claire being accused remained in the grand hall. Alexander looked at the woman who had been humiliated in front of everyone. Her name must be cleared in the same place where her dignity was destroyed. The screen in the grand hall came to life. Celeste entered the nursery while Claire was downstairs, removed Mara's necklace, and placed it beneath the journal inside the blue bag. Sophie suddenly appeared in the doorway. The child froze. Celeste knelt in front of her. She did not strike Sophie, but her words were more frightening than a slap. "If you tell anyone, the police will arrest Claire. You will never see her again." Celeste used the tablet to delete the recording, then returned Owen's management card as though nothing had happened. The people who had looked at Claire like a criminal now avoided her eyes. Margaret realized that her own prejudice had helped Celeste humiliate an innocent woman. "It was one moment when I lost control," Celeste said. "Claire was trying to destroy my engagement. I panicked." Laura did not argue. She opened additional recordings that the system had automatically saved on previous days after detecting crying and health alerts. The first showed Sophie recording a voice message for her father. Celeste waited until the girl left, then deleted it. The second captured Celeste saying, "After the wedding, you will attend a school where no one will spoil you the way Claire does." The third recording made Alexander grip the edge of the table. On the night Sophie suffered an asthma attack, an alarm sounded on the tablet beside Celeste. She muted it so she could continue her phone call. Claire heard Sophie coughing, rushed into the room, used the inhaler, and called for medical assistance. Alexander looked at his daughter, then at Claire. The woman his family had just treated like a thief had saved Sophie while his fiancée ignored the warning. Claire removed the care journal from the evidence bag. The dates and times of the asthma attack, the missing messages, and the blocked communication all matched the camera records. Owen lowered his head. "Celeste repeatedly ordered me to block Claire's reports because she said Claire was overstepping her authority. I followed those instructions to keep the household peaceful." Margaret stood before the guests. "I believed Celeste because Claire was a household employee. I allowed a painful experience from my past to become an excuse for accusing someone with less money and power. Claire, I am sorry." Claire did not respond with anger. An apology is the first step, but dignity destroyed in public cannot be restored with a single sentence. Alexander removed the engagement ring from Celeste's hand and placed it on the table. "Our engagement is over, but I will not use my power to decide your punishment myself." Laura announced that Celeste would be investigated for making a false report, interfering with evidence, planting stolen property, and threatening a child witness. She was escorted away according to proper procedure and without violence. Owen was suspended for searching Claire's bag without authorization, disabling her access, and concealing safety warnings. He surrendered his management card and agreed to cooperate with the investigation. Alexander addressed the guests. "The necklace was found inside Claire's bag, but the only person who truly protected my daughter in this house was the woman we just treated like a criminal." He apologized to Claire and restored the salary, housing, and insurance that had been terminated. Claire did not immediately accept her position back. "I will consider returning only after Sophie is evaluated by an independent child psychologist. No one may block communication between her and her father. Employees must have a reporting channel outside household management. Camera recordings cannot be deleted by one person acting alone. And you must participate directly in your daughter's care schedule." Alexander accepted every condition. "I used work to avoid the pain of losing Mara, then confused hiring someone to care for Sophie with taking responsibility as her father." Sophie picked up the necklace and placed it in Claire's hand. Claire gently returned it. "This belongs to you. No one should ever use it to control or hurt another person." Alexander turned the pendant over. Beneath the light, Mara's engraved message appeared. For Sophie, when she finds her voice. Sophie looked at her father. Claire did not take the necklace. Alexander knelt until he was at his daughter's eye level. This time, I heard you, and I will keep listening. 6 months later, Claire returned as the child care coordinator under a contract that clearly defined her authority and protections. At the same time, she began studying for a certification in early childhood counseling. Alexander reserved 3 evenings every week for Sophie and participated in family therapy. Margaret funded, but did not control, a legal support program for live-in workers who had been falsely accused. Alexander and Claire established the Mara Grant Child and Caregiver Initiative. It provided emergency legal advice, training to recognize emotional abuse, independent evidence preservation, and support for workers caring for relatives with medical conditions. Inside the center's art classroom, Sophie walked between Claire and Alexander. She drew 3 people holding hands beneath a star. This time, no one was left outside the picture. The camera proved Claire's innocence, but Sophie regained her voice only because someone finally believed her. That trust transformed the estate into a home. Evidence can expose a lie, but listening is what heals the damage created by silence. If you were Claire, would you return and continue caring for Sophie? Share your choice in the comments, and stay with Stewart Stories, where we tell stories of love, hope, and justice.